My name is Tom Marsh, but most people know me as the flat-capped photographer. In 2012, while studying for a master's degree in photography, I decided to bring together three of my greatest loves in life: photography, walking, and my home county of Yorkshire. Yorkshire Photo Walks was born, and ever since I've been providing photography tuition to small groups on inspirational walks through unique Yorkshire locations. Yorkshire is an incredibly diverse place, and I've been lucky enough to get to know it really well. So join me as I take you off the beaten track to discover new and amazing places and improve your camera skills and confidence in your own photography. Welcome to Yorkshire Photo Walks with the flat-capped photographer. About a mile as the crow flies in that direction is Fountains Abbey, one of the most visited tourist spots in Yorkshire. I wonder how many people that visit there every year even know this place exists. In this latest episode of Yorkshire Photo Walks with the flat-capped photographer, I'm exploring Evestone Lake. Evestone Lake is a man-made fishing pond which was constructed by the Fountains Abbey estate when the monks were still in residence. A vibrant and well-used past echoes through the surrounding woodland, with the remains of a decaying boathouse, forgotten fishing pontoons, and paths that are seemingly uncared for. Although this past life is slowly being forgotten by nature, it is this natural influence that makes this location so special. The trees hide amazing rocky crags, and the stillness of the water provides excellent reflective vantage points. Not far from the road which links Ripon and Pateley Bridge, many will pass by this beauty spot without even knowing the secrets it hides. Okay, so at this point you're probably wondering, why on earth, when Fountains Abbey, this amazing ancient monument, is just a mile down the road, is he exploring some forgotten lake in the middle of nowhere? Well, that's the whole point. For me, locations like this are very special. Hundreds of people will go to Fountains Abbey today, but I might be one of only 3 or 4 people that visit this place. The wonderful, intricate details that most people pass by are what I'm going to be looking out for today. I'm not going for those grand, memorable shots of vast open vistas of ancient buildings. I'm going for those shots that we'll remember for different reasons, because a certain reflection stands out, because the detail of a tree stands out amongst its surroundings and really celebrates the simplicity of the landscape. That's something that I know I wouldn't be able to get at Fountains Abbey. So join me as I wander round the lake and hopefully give you a few pointers on what to look out for when you're next in a location that you think, well, I wouldn't usually bring my camera along today. Believe me, there's a lot out there to find, so let's go and have a look. When you think of landscape photography,
no doubt you'll think about wide-angled lenses and narrow aperture settings. But today I'm going completely against those regular rules. I've got my trusty 50mm lens on the camera, and I'm also going to use quite a wide aperture, even as wide as 1.8. The reason for that is that I find that winter, which is obviously the time of year that it is at the moment, is a time of simplicity, and capturing simple things in a simple landscape lends itself to quite shallow depths of field and also quite narrow angles of view. We don't want to get absolutely everything in because there's not going to be enough focal points to make that worthwhile, and if there are, then they're all going to be crowded in together and the scene's going to look overcomplicated. So by going with a 50mm lens, which also allows me to go with an aperture such as 1.8, then I'm going to get a lot more intricate detailed shots, and I'm also going to be able to simplify those shots with that shallow depth of field and isolate my subjects. The simplicity of your composition can make or break a photograph, especially in a busy wooded environment like this. But it's one of the things from my experience of teaching photography that most people tend to struggle with. I know it's easier said than done, but it helps to be able to look through the eyes of the camera, because when we are out and about just looking generally, we find that what we see is completely different to what our camera sees. So here are a few pointers to help you in the right direction when it comes to making a few more simplifying factors when it comes to taking photographs. So first of all, if you find a subject that interests you, maybe try to get a bit closer to it, and instead of photographing it straight on at eye level, get down to its level and photograph along it. If we select a shallow depth of field by using a wide aperture like we were talking about earlier on, then we can create a really nice effect, but at the same time keep our composition simple. Also, if you're in an area where it's quite monotone, i.e. where I've been walking today, now I've come out of the sun, it's a bit grey, a bit brown, and there's not very many colours showing. So one of the few things that I've been doing is thinking, right, this isn't so detailed in colour, but there is a lot of contrast here. So what I'm going to do is turn my photographs to black and white. What this allows you to do is draw people's eye to that contrast instead of it looking a bit muddy and flat. When it comes to making photographs in a busy environment, realistically it all comes down to artistic license, which is, I know, a theme that scares a lot of people. But in reality, what we mean by artistic license in photography is the difference between seeing the world through a camera's eyes and seeing the world through our eyes. I'm sure you've many a time gone out, taken lots of photographs thinking, wow, this is going to be fantastic, looked at them back on the computer screen and thought, oh, I haven't really done that justice. And that's because we just don't really think that much about what we're looking at and what the camera is actually seeing. Some of the ways that you can train your eye to see more like a camera does is look for very simple backgrounds.
Today I've been finding simple subjects like leaves overhanging the path and twigs overhanging the lake. And what that's allowed me to do is isolate those subjects nicely against that simple background. And by just honing in on those little details rather than taking a photograph of the whole tree, it gives you the context of the woodland environment, of the lake environment, without overcomplicating the photograph.
Let me summarise what I've covered here at Evestone Lake. Firstly, landscape photography doesn't have to be all about wide angles and narrow apertures. Sometimes picking out details using a wider aperture can make a great photograph. Less is often more in photography. Simplify your composition by getting closer to your subject and getting down to its level. Shoot along it rather than straight at it with a wide aperture to pick out detail and isolate it from its surroundings. If a scene is lacking in colour but high in contrast, think about making your photograph black and white. Finally, apply artistic license by photographing parts of subjects rather than the whole thing, and make it pop using a simple background. I'm going to leave you now with some of the photographs that I've taken today. For more useful hints and tips when it comes to improving your photography skills, keep an eye on our website, yorkshirephotowalks.com. You could be joining me in another inspirational Yorkshire location like Evestone Lake very soon. Remember, don't just photograph Yorkshire, experience it with Yorkshire Photo Walks. Thank you for watching.